video. Interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Hmm. Instead
Let's
of
go to
playing
Facebook and share it while we're here.
no, we could do that. Facebook. Friend face, friend finder. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I have to give Starlink some credit. It's been doing pretty good. So, and good news, I did see today, even today on Sunday, the Spectrum, who I get fiber from.
Yes.
They've been they've been circling around the area working on stuff. So hopefully I'll be back on fiber here soon because that'd be great.
And your colon will appreciate it.
Yeah, don't forget your fiber intake, kids. It's important.
All right. Checking the audio levels. Hello, everyone. Give me a check, Greg.
Hello, everybody. Check, 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 check.
Very nice. Okay. Anything else I need to remember from like a month ago?
Who knows?
I got to church and I did the streaming, and Susan, one of the audio techs, goes, "You sure you remember how to do this?" I said, "I made this checklist for me,
Yeah, right.
not to train new people. This is so when I sit down, I remember what to do."
Right.
And
Yeah.
then she laughed when I said, "Thank you, former sober Chuck,"
Sober Chuck.
because the implication is I'm not sober right now.
I know. I got it.
All right. Ready to rock?
I think so.
Okay. Nobody's joining us at the beginning, but who knows? Maybe they'll watch in a bit. They'll jump in and sing some Christmas carols with us.
All right. What?
Right.
All right.
I'm gathering up a whole bunch of Christmas carols for my ukulele songbook. I've got a holiday songbook. I've got about 38 songs in there right now.
Yeah, I liked your text message. You said you were confusing I guess your nieces and
Trick-or-treaters?
nephews. Yeah,
Yeah.
trick or treaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Christmas carols on
That's
Halloween.
right. Yeah. So I gathered up a few for that, but I'm getting more because we're going to a Christmas party next month at Brad Miller's. And I said, "Hey, Brad, here's an idea. What if we had some Christmas caroling at your Christmas party? Just throwing it out there, your agenda. I'll bring the ukulele and some songs that everybody knows, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and whatnot." And he writes back, "I asked Sue. She didn't just say yes, she yelled it."
Whoa.
Oh, that
All
was
right.
pretty emphatic acknowledgement. Okay. So now I got to brush up on some Christmas songs.
Yeah, don't forget the what's the one how do you say Merry Christmas in Hawaiian or Yeah, that's it. Make sure.
Yeah, the one that I really want to play that's really hard is the
Mhm.
Christmas song, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. That ain't happening. It's too difficult. But
Keep
some
at
are
it.
really easy, like Last Christmas by Wham.
Well,
Just
yeah.
the same 4 notes over and over again. I love those. I don't have to
As
think.
I've mentioned before, if you know 3 or 4 notes, you know a million
You're funny.
songs. No. That's what I've been told.
Yep. And have you tried that theory?
Yeah, I mean, you got to practice the rhythm and
You get a
stuff for each
handful
song,
of
but if you know those songs, you can learn a lot of songs.
you can learn a lot of songs.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how you get started, and then you learn a few more, and you learn a few more, and your repertoire expands, and then you're a crazy idiot like me.
It's like a drug, man.
I've got over 500 songs in my songbook right now.
Yeah. You're becoming your karaoke app.
There's a strong overlap between those karaoke songs and the ukulele songs, and that's no
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah,
All
no
right,
kidding.
let's start the recording in 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 756. The future is now ish. I'm doing that over. That was too quiet on that intro thing.
You're doing it over?
I'm just gonna do that over. Yeah, the intro music was way low for some reason.
It's so much better than when we recorded like half the show and you go, yeah, you gotta redo it.
I didn't check all the audio levels. There. Okay. Now we're good. Okay, here we go. Doing it. Take 2. 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 756. The future is now ish. Hello and welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the show. check out the comments we've got on the chat panel, Craig. I think somebody just went, wait, why are you doing this second time? My name is Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. And right over there is the one and only Craig Stepp from North Carolina. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing well. Usually I would, my first thing was I need to correct Chuck, not North Carolina, but that is where I'm at. I keep forgetting. That's where I'm at now.
It's only been, what, about 4 months?
Well, August. Well, almost 4 months, I guess. Yeah. So things are getting back to a little bit.
Track.
Huh?
I'm keeping track.
Yeah. So things are getting a little bit more to normal here, slowly but surely. Got the yard cleaned up, got the trees off the house, and so it's looking pretty decent now.
Good, just in time for winter.
Yeah. Now it's not perfect.
There's some the vehicle.
What's that?
What's the situation with the vehicle? You got the tree fell on your other one. Was it totaled?
Yes, I got a text message that said it was totaled, and it said they would contact me in a couple of days with the details. It's like, all right. So I waited a couple of weeks, still haven't heard anything. I was like, all right, forget it. I'm gonna take matters in my own hands. So we were able to buy a car, and during that process, we found out that they in fact did total it. It's just sitting on somebody's desk to sign off on. I'm like, why are they making me wait so long? But it's ridiculous. They should be, get this out of the way.
Eventually you get some money back for the other vehicle.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I'm hoping it should be about half, I assume, because it's looking at the value, what I think the car is worth, but we'll see. But yeah, I got a new car. I got basically the same thing. I had a 2020 RAV4 XLE hybrid. Mm-hmm. And now I got the same thing, but 2024. And it's got really the same kind of packages, but you can tell things have been upgraded a little bit, even over 4 years between the two models. And like there's on the Toyota app, it'll tell you if the windows are down, the car's not locked. Cool.
So if your bandwidth is working right.
Is it not working right?
you roboted out for a sec.
I think I have multiple people using my bandwidth tonight, so
take them off.
It'll work. Yeah, I should.
We'll see what happens. Otherwise, it wouldn't be technical. A few glitches.
So did you catch up? Did you catch all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Tells you if your zipper is down, and then you robot it out.
Right. Exactly. Robot. Yeah, little hands. Yeah. Yeah. But it's nice. It's a nice car. I like it. I love it.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear things are getting back to quasi-normal and everybody is okay. Should we start with our question of the week?
Yes, let's do that.
Right, let's play our feedback music. I remember how to do that.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh, boy.
Mailman, mail today.
Oh, how many times have we heard that song?
thousands.
Gonna make a puppet show out of that pretty soon.
Other stuff. Let's get Toily doing this.
Right. I'm sure that wouldn't cause any problems with Grant.
Right.
Just sing along with it. Ladders! We get those ladders! Donna would have a fit.
I actually would like that a lot.
Could happen. All right. We have a question last time. I'm not going to say question of the week because it's been a few weeks since we were here, but I'm
Yeah.
back from traveling. The question is, if you could instantly become an expert in any emerging technology, which would you choose and why? So we have some responses here. One from Steve London who says, interstellar travels or wormhole technology. Why? Because I need to get out of this place.
That's right. Kyle Nishioka says direct computer to brain interface because every Bluetooth mouse and keyboard sucks.
You know, I read it about the same way.
Oh, did you?
And that's not how he would say it.
Well, what's funny is he didn't emphasize any of that. I did.
No, he didn't. And
Sucks.
if you've heard him talk, that's not how he would say it. But that's
Yeah.
just how I read it.
Right.
You did
Yeah.
the same thing.
That's funny.
Mike Robinson says space agronomy. If we ever do start origami, if we ever do start exploring a colonization, we will need to eat. Like agriculture. He says waste utilization. The poo from today could become where you live and grow food tomorrow. And if possible, someone create a matrix program utilizing every Art Bell Seymour. Oh, right. Art Bell hosted show and everything created by Monty Python into a predictive database. As far as I can tell, these are the most accurate predictive indicators of future human activity.
You know,
Silly. That's all I
That
got.
is okay. So in the last week or so, I guess we went out with some friends to dinner, and during the night, Art Bell came up in the conversation, and I was like, for a minute, it took me a minute to remember his name because I hadn't listened to him in so long. I went, wait, you're talking about Art Bell? And he's like, yeah, I am. And I was like, whoa, Art Bell and who else was he? He didn't mention Dr. Demento, but some of those nationally syndicated kind of shows.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. He brought up Art Bell because he's like, yeah, used to listen to him talking about UFOs and aliens, and I was like, yeah, I know you're talking about it. It just took me a minute to remember Art Bell, but yeah, I used to love listening to that guy. You ever listen to him?
The name is familiar, and I wish I could say I could recall something, but I don't. I wasn't a
It
regular.
was like it was called Coast to Coast with Art. I think it was Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
Okay.
And he would talk about conspiracy theories about aliens or government conspiracies to cover up, things like Roswell and things like that. But it was fun to listen to the people that would call in because they would have personal experiences they were sharing, and it was just a lot of fun to listen to that show.
Okay, so he wasn't spreading misinformation, like the moon landing was a hoax, that kind of stuff.
Oh no, not exactly. He was talking about the existence of aliens, and they were
Okay.
trying to substantiate it, and they were talking about some of the. It could be conspiracy theories, like it was personal stories that people shared. It was all kinds of stuff. It was. You can probably find a lot of it online. I imagine. So, I don't know. I haven't looked into it a long time, but it was. I used to have some jobs where I wasn't like third shift, but I was doing some stuff late, and it was one of those things that was perfect to listen to late at night. Can get your mind going.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right, we are done with our question of the week, but we'll be back at the end of the show with another one. Stick around. Which means the marching band is coming in. There they are. On this day in history for November 13th, 2024, it's the 318th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 48 days remaining in 2024. It was
Sure.
on this date in 1833. The Great Meteor Storm of 1833 took place. Wow, that's a coincidence. Very timely.
Because it was on the same date.
If it had shown up
All
a
right.
year, when the Great Meteor Storm of 1833 would have taken place in 1834, that wouldn't have worked at all.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't work that. It was also on that date in 1841 that the James Braid James Braid first saw a demonstration of animal magnetism by Charles Lafontaine, which led to his study of the subject that he eventually called hypnotism.
The Hypnotoad was born.
Yeah, that's right.
97 years ago today, the Holland Tunnel opened to traffic as the first Hudson River vehicle tunnel linking New Jersey to New York City.
And it was on this date in 1940 that Walt Disney's animated musical film Fantasia was first released in New York's Broadway Theater on the first night of a roadshow.
That same date in 1947, the Soviet Union completed development of the AK-47, one of the first proper assault rifles. What were the other ones?
Yeah.
Improper?
The AK-46.
I didn't know the Soviet Union did the development of the AK-47. I learned something today.
Yeah. And it was on that date in 1982 that the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C. after a march to its site by thousands of Vietnam War veterans. And to all the ones listening, I say thank you for your service and welcome home.
Yes, Monday is Veterans Day, or is today Veterans Day? Shame on me.
Monday
I should know
will be.
this.
Monday.
Monday will be. We saluted everybody in church today. That's why I'm a little confused. So it is Veterans Day in the United States. So thank you for everyone who served, as Craig said. All right, where were we? 1996 as part of the Great Internet Mersenne Prime Search, or GIMPS project. Joel Armengod discovered the project's first Mersenne prime number, 2 to the power of 1,398,269 minus 1. It is a number with 420,921 digits.
Dang. Okay. We're going to read them all right now. No. Also, on November 13th, 2012, a total eclipse occurred in parts of Australia and the South Pacific.
Happy birthday goes out of the state to German's first female doctor, Dorothea Erxleben, I hope.
Yeah.
Born in the state in
right.
1715.
And born November 13th, 1866, American educator. He founded the Institute of Advanced Study, Abraham Flexner.
Isn't that Bender's brother with the little beard?
Yeah. that's him.
Flexner.
Yeah.
Max Dane, the German-American mathematician and academic, was born 146 years ago today.
And American biochemist and academic, Nobel Prize laureate Edward Adalbert Doisy was born 131 years ago today. Years ago today.
That name really, it sounds like a Rube Goldberg machine. Edward
Adalbert
Doisy.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one for you. Albert Turner Barukarid, American mathematician and theorist, was born on that same date in 1927.
Yeah, and born November 13th in 1932, American record producer and publisher Buddy Killian.
I don't know why that one's in there. I must have hit the button somewhere.
It's all right.
We generally
We'll
don't do.
celebrate his birthday too.
Actor, director, and producer Gary Marshall came out with shows like Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and many more. Was born in the state in 1934.
An American businessman and philanthropist. He founded Hobby Lobby. David Green is 83 today.
Wouldn't it be funny if his name was either Hobby or Lobby?
Lobby would make sense. Yeah.
American physicist and environmentalist Amory Lovins was born in the state in 1947.
And also born in that same day in 1954, American businessman who co-founded Sun Microsystems, Scott McNeely.
Ooh, there's one for our audience. American actress, comedian, and talk show host Whoopi Goldberg. Guinan is 69 today.
An American comedian, actor, and talk show host, Jimmy Kimmel was born on this date in 1967.
Looking at our birthday calendar for our members of the show, friends of the show, November 13th is Pippa from London. Jennifer Therian, also on the 13th. The 15th is Jackie Breller, a.k.a. Crazy Joe and Christine's daughter.
Yeah.
And also on the 15th, Chuck Jolly, a.k.a. Night Star from Horn Lake, Missouri, if he's still there. We hope you have a wonderful birthday. And if your birthday is this week and you're not on the calendar, we wish you all the best and hope that you do get on the calendar. You can do that by going to chuckchat.com/birthday. We'll give it a shout out at the appropriate time of year. Just head over to, Craig will put it on the screen eventually, chuckchat.com/birthday. Quick, before the band finishes, Craig, there it is. All right, in the news.
Good startling news, everyone.
Well, it was a random blue button that had something to do with good news. A father-daughter
Not
team. I got like 15 of them. I just throw my finger on column 2. A father-daughter team decodes an alien signal from Mars that stumped the world for a year. This was kind of interesting. Let me just read a little bit. I know we haven't done this in a while, but a father-daughter team has decoded a mock alien message after a year of trying. Now, citizen scientists are trying to figure out what the decoded missive truly means for Earth. So what they did is, according to ESA, Ken and Kelly Chafin from the US were the first to crack the code, which was sent from ESA's ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter as part of a citizen science project in May 2023. 3 radio observatories on Earth heard the message, and the data were made available to the public. The first step was to extract the signal from the raw data, and the second was to decode it. So a lot of people have been trying for this, and what they discovered is it was an image of 5 proteins.
And amino acids.
Excuse me, amino acids. Yes, 5 amino. Sorry, I was getting my components of RNA mixed up.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of you're getting ahead of yourself. Those are the building blocks.
They discovered life. No, they just it has nothing to do with actual discoveries on Mars. They just said, hey, if an alien sent a message, this is what it might look like. Now figure it out. So this father and daughter team went and figured it out, and they went, they thought about the problem a little differently than everybody else. Where was it? The message turned out to be an image depicting the structure of 5 amino acids. It was the brainchild of a group of simulated extraterrestrials, according to a sign in space. Now, the next step is, so what if the aliens sent us this message? You know how we had that record on Voyager, or each of the Voyagers?
Yeah,
and had a
the golden
picture
record,
of a man and a woman, and theoretically there were instructions on the record of how to put together a player based on, what was it, 21 centimeters, the wavelength of a hydrogen atom, something like that. That's kind of what they're doing in reverse. They're saying, if an alien sent us a message, could we decode it, and what would it mean? So what would 5 amino acids mean? That's the next trick. I don't know who has the answer, or if they had an answer, like if you assemble these, you get a protein, and a protein to RNA. I don't know. I don't know. But
keep in mind this is a test, so somebody knows the answer because they put it together.
Maybe.
Well, they did. So this is like a trial run, if you would say, but for if we did actually get a message from another race, we could, we could go through the same kind of motions to hopefully this will be a learning test to put that together.
You'd have to think of lots of different contexts that message could be. And they cracked it. I did find the part I was looking for. They said, the Chafins managed to crack the code when they figured out that the message included some biological features. Because all you're given is this stream of data. Imagine reading a hex dump of a file, Craig. And who knows how long this thing was. And going, here. I mean, it doesn't necessarily say this is an image. It just says, this is raw data that came in from this signal going, figure it out.
You need to get Jeff Goldblum and his magical Mac from, Independence Data, figured it out.
No, we're not uploading a virus with a USB stick.
With a USB stick. I got it.
I sure am glad the aliens had USB-A and not USB-C, because I forgot my adapter.
Oh, this is USB-D. Oh, dang.
Hasn't come out yet. We can learn something.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I
Uh,
can imagine. Hey, well, just imagine, something from Earth, it's that we created, and it's a hex dump of a program. You got to figure out what it is and where you can even run it. You know, much less from alien source trying to figure out what it is. You know what I
we don't
mean?
have floppy drives anymore.
Well, who knows what kind of technology they would have?
Right. That's why we included the instructions in Voyager how to construct basically a record player.
Yeah. It's great. They got an IKEA kit
I was
flying around with the thing.
I'm glad you picked that up. That's exactly where I wanted you to go.
Yeah,
We
the
have
IKEA
spare
record
parts.
player,
We have some spare parts and we don't have the right size wrench.
right? Oh, we forgot the Allen wrenches. Dang.
That's okay. Two of the screws fell off in the last solar system. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I returned the wobbly CD rack for some rancid meatballs.
They're rancid.
No, that was Farnsworth's bad news, everyone. When
Oh yeah.
he does this one,
Bad news, nobody.
the super collider is super imploded.
Oh yeah. Right.
I returned it to IKEA for a wobbly CD rack and
Oh,
some rancid
okay.
meatballs.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. My
We
eyes
are
watering.
sending them the audio of Abbott and Costello's "Who's on First." Yes, that's what we sent them.
That's just.
That'll confuse them with no context of
Can
baseball.
you imagine the alien race works on it for like years, figures it out, and goes, "What the hell?"
I'm picturing Lur and Inda. We do not know what this baseball is.
We should go there and find out.
Send us more images of the what was it?
On
was
what?
the lawyer show they were watching like 10 years behind?
Young female lawyer.
Yeah. I can't even remember. It was a popular show. Anyway,
we must go find out who was on first and what's next.
we have decoded your message and do not understand its meaning. We will send you some amino acids. They've been dropping the amino acid apparently.
Oh,
Let's move on.
yes,
SpaceX
please.
Dragon went up to the ISS, and
Yes.
periodically they need to take the ISS and boost it back into a higher orbit because its orbit slowly decays. Well, this is the first time that Dragon has done this. They've had other Soyuz capsules, they've had other US rockets that have
Mhm.
boosted it back up. This is the first time Dragon has done this, and they did this partly is a learning experiment, research, because sad to say, the plan for the ISS is to bring it down in 2030.
Well, that was the whole point of the art. This whole exercise was, it's the beginning of the end. Which blows my mind that we're getting ready to destroy something like that. But it's been up there for a long time. So
About 25 years is what the article said.
yeah,
A lot of people, but it's becoming a maintenance. It's like a 25-year-old vehicle. It's costing more to run it than it is to. So they said when the money from that gets freed up, we'll be able to do things like more funding for Artemis or deep space explorations or
yeah.
whatever. So its time has passed. There is talk of another ISS follow-up. They also went into the collaboration with the Russians. They thought that things are going to get a little sticky when Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah.
And fortunately for the ISS, that has not happened. But they said there's no telling what could happen in the future. And the
Mhm.
Russians said, that is okay. We are sending one up ourselves in 2028. So
Okay.
they may be sending up a space station. We don't know. There's a lot of variables in play right now.
We ordered one from wish.com, which should be here soon.
Do you know what you're going to get if you ordered a space station from wish.com?
About this big. It'll be tiny.
You're going to get a cardboard space.
it's an origami version of the space station you're gonna put together.
Yep.
Oh man, my eyes are watering. I'm laughing too much. Oh, that's funny.
Maybe we should only do the show once a month. It's funnier. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, it's really sucks. But if you think about it, I remember Skylab, Mir. Uh,
Yep.
what was the other? There was another one in there.
I thought China was sending one up.
China's. They may have it. Yeah.
I
saw.
don't think there were any more besides Skylab
Hey,
and Mir.
I saw the Chinese one in the movie Gravity.
And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway,
All right.
so
As if this couldn't get any crazier, you've probably already heard the story about the monkeys that have escaped in South Carolina.
yes,
Not Craig escaping from South Carolina.
no, I'm not one of the monkeys, but I did think this was interesting. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, great! This reminds me of the kind of stories." Like, actually, I posted on Facebook. This is the beginning of the Planet of the Apes prophecy.
Or yeah, they escaped from a research facility, but they
Yes,
said, no, they're not infected. And this has happened before.
yeah,
So
this happened in Beaufort County, Lower South Carolina.
isn't that like
There,
along the coast?
yes, it is.
Okay.
And there's a place called Alpha Genesis, and they had some young female monkeys escape, and
43 of them to be precise.
43. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. But apparently they didn't go very far because they're still kind of. I saw another article where they mentioned they're hanging around looking at the facility. They're near right outside of the facility watching it. And I was like, see, they're planning their attack. That's what
They
they're
went to
gonna
the
attack.
playground to play on the monkey bars.
Yeah. Wah,
That's what they did.
wah. Well, they said they were very young females, and they're too young to carry disease. I don't understand that statement, but okay. And these have not been tested on at all for some of the things that they do test on there. And I think a lot of it was brain activity and brain disease disorder treatments is what they test them with. So,
If you see a monkey,
um,
do not approach the monkey. Call 911. Lock your doors and
yeah.
windows. They don't want them coming in your house. We
I
don't
did
need,
read that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we don't need another Shakespeare book written by monkeys.
No. Well, there's only 43 of them. You need, another 900 and something.
It did
Fill that
happen
out.
right after election day. So I'm just saying there might be a coincidence.
Oh, those are your fake electors. No.
That's the new Congress coming in.
Yeah, new Congress, a bunch of monkeys. Yeah. So I was reading, I think it was another article, and they were talking about they were going to use darts, but they were hoping not to. They were trying to entice them with food to and trap
Yep.
them. And they were using thermal imaging to try and to be able to see them at night. I
Broken banana. Is this Operation Broken Banana? What are we?
broken banana. Well, I started thinking of who's involved with this. Matthew Broderick, James Franco, Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. No, no.
So we'll follow this and keep everybody up to date. How about that?
Might lead to another Bruce Campbell movie. Now that I could see.
Bruce Campbell.
We're just going to call
right.
the movie Alpha
All right,
Genesis.
All right, you dirty apes. Yeah.
They're monkeys. They're
Yeah.
not apes. They're monkeys. Tails.
Sorry.
Monkeys have tails. Anyway, quick shout out to the chat room. We do have a few people that have been hanging out with us, but the most vocal seems to
Oh.
be one just named Facebook user. So thank you,
I
Facebook
know.
user.
Yeah, I wonder why we're not getting a real name there, but okay.
The mystery of it. It's intriguing. We
Oh,
hang
by the
out with
way,
us on Sunday nights
20
at 8:30 Eastern if you wish. Yes, what?
25 of the escaped monkeys have been captured. So they're making progress.
All right, 18 to
Just
go.
Yeah.
Just look at the donut shops. and the playgrounds, and the
They're vaping. Some of them are
porn
vaping.
theaters. Yeah, the vape shops. No, the new the cannabis shops.
Cannabis shops.
Hi, monkeys.
Not in South Carolina. I can tell you that.
They don't have cannabis shops down there?
Nope.
It wasn't legalized in South Carolina. That's why you went to North Carolina. No
What?
I'm just trying to figure out why you moved.
Yeah. It wasn't. If
They're
it
all
wasn't for
The monkeys
marijuana
were all in
legality.
Craig's old house.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why
All
I
right.
moved. Yeah.
Should you do the remember when? There we go. Well, we have a remember when. It's not really remembering too far back because it's recent news about something that's kind of old. The
Yeah.
Voyager 1 spacecraft. Remember the Voyager spacecraft? We only talk about
Yep.
it about 3-4 times a year.
I've heard about it before.
It had that messed up signal, and they went, oh, there's this bit of memory that we have to work around. The fact that they can communicate with this thing and send it patches at this point is amazing. When you think about it, launched in 1977. What happened this time? Well, it turns out that it decided it was going to turn its radio off. Although they have a backup radio. So they have an X band, which is how they do their primary transmissions. And they have an S band, which is lower power because they said, hey, there's some sort of system fault. We're going to conserve energy. We'll shut down the X band radio. So the NASA engineers are going, hello. Now you have to remember, it takes 23 hours to go, what is it, like 15 billion miles out to the satellite, out to Voyager, and then another 23 hours to get a response, which is probably going to be nobody here. So after a couple of days, they said, maybe we should try the S band. And they went, oh, yeah, let's do that. So
I
they're
forgot I
able
had one.
to wake it up. They don't want to turn on the X band radio because they might trigger another system fault. And who knows what's going to happen after that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
things are a little sketchy right now, but they're working on it.
It's just amazing to me that they're operating this thing and it's like so far out, you know?
Yes. And it's so
And-
old. Can you imagine
Yeah.
trying to, remote control like an Apple One, which is
Yeah.
about what this is.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there was no remote. So, I mean,
Right.
just the fact that it's got all that is amazing. That it works. And it, after what, 50 something years now at this point?
Yep.
So, wow.
And it's so far, but yet it has enough power to transmit a signal back. Man, I can't even. I've got an FM radio that I can't even get a decent signal for the local stations. And
I
it was
can't even
built
get-
3-4 years
And
ago.
Hey, I can't even get cell signal at my home.
Right. And yet this thing can get signal 15 billion miles away. It's out of the solar system. It's just
Yeah.
that I am still impressed. Still impressed.
Yes. Absolutely. Hey, those engineers didn't get paid enough that built that thing.
I wonder how many are still around. That was
I
almost
don't know.
50
I have to
years
look
ago.
that up. I have to look that up.
No, I don't want to think about that. Every time I look and people are no longer with us, I get a little sad. So let's keep
Yeah.
the show on the positive note for now, such as thanking our patrons. These are the people that keep the show going through their generous donations over at patreon.com/Technorama podcast. Craig is ahead of the game on the video right now. Thank you very much. People like Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dan D. Mancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford. The regular listeners to the show are probably going, yep, I can name those for you. So go right ahead. John Noble, Yorga Shrawan, Crazy Joe. Who's next? Kyle Nishioka, right? And then?
Yeah.
Yes, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills. Most of them are in alphabetical order except Brad Miller.
That's okay.
Saturday
He's
morning.
always out of order.
You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole court is out of order. This podcast is out of order. Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They all went over to chuckchat.no. Technorama paid. Where'd they go? Patreon.com/Technorama podcast. I got the birthday calendar on the brain still.
Yeah.
Man, take a few weeks off and I got to be retrained. It's only written right on the screen in front of me.
I know. I did my best to put it there for you.
Podcast. Thank you very much. We did discover, unfortunately, that StreamYard is raising their rates. And our renewal is coming due soon. I only wish we would have renewed like a month ago. That would have been nice. But we didn't. And now we are in for a little higher than expected expenses. We've got some slush fund in the bank account. So we can take it this year, but we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the next year in terms of this higher cost. So
just audio only? I don't know.
Thank you very much to everybody who continues to make this possible. I know we have not been producing as regularly as we have been in the past. We had, obviously, Craig had hurricane damage. I had some family travel, but we will do our best to continue to bring this to you and appreciate your support the whole way through. All right, stop the music. We're done with that part.
All right, turn off the banner.
We're going to just do a few. I'm not going to do every bullet on my list, but we do need to talk about some things we've been watching.
You can tell somebody's been retired now.
This is all YouTube stuff. I haven't watched anything on Netflix, Disney Plus.
No, but you got time to watch this stuff.
That's
what I'm saying.
Well, a lot of these are short.
Okay.
A lot of these are short. And I'll watch one or two and fall asleep at night going, oh, I missed something on the geology of Europe in the Ice Age.
Yeah. When you wake up, you go, oh.
Riveting stuff. It's just like being in school. I fell asleep.
It's like reliving high school.
Yep. I don't really have a job. I'm not getting paid, and I'm falling asleep listening to other people try to teach me things. That sounds familiar. Anyway, not bagging on the education system or anything. I've been watching a number of YouTube videos, mainly science-based. Let me give you a sample of what it is. Some fun ones like forms of transportation that were supposed to change the world, but didn't. And they have like the mono wheel. You know that thing we see at the Dragon Con parade with the men in black?
Yeah.
You know, sitting inside the wheel. That was one of them.
I have seen that before. I think I may have seen, I don't know if that's that same video, but yeah, he's got like a little motorcycle motor.
There's a whole bunch of things in this one that are kind of fun. If you want to see some forms, what was the other one? Not the monorail. There were a number of them in here. What really happened to the Arecibo telescope? This one is from, what was it? Practical Engineering. It's somebody's engineering channel that this guy knows his stuff. And I subscribed to it recently. They actually have videos of when the cables snapped because there was a drone flying up there and inspecting, and it went snap, and the whole thing came crashing down. Now, it had some problems before, but he goes into what happened, what are they doing, are there any plans for the future, is there another one, et cetera, et cetera. So, wonderful story about the Arecibo telescope. By
the way, is it me, or did it seem like one thing failed on that telescope and then it just they just quit using it and it kind of deteriorated right away?
I think it was lack of funding to really maintain it because it had some damage but still functional. And then once the cable snapped and the whole thing came crashing down, it
just seems like it was like almost like it was in the movie, wasn't it in the movie?
It was in Contact. It was in a James Bond movie. It was in a lot of movies.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you go, "Wow, this is a sophisticated, telescope," and it just kind of. I saw videos about it deteriorating everywhere. Just like
I learned, it's not parabolic; it's actually spherical on purpose.
Must be
so.
Cheap.
If you want to find out more about that, you got to watch the video.
Yeah, that must be really deep. All right.
The geography of the Ice Age. So what was under the ice? Like during the last ice age, you had a lot of North America and Northern Europe under ice.
Hmm.
What was going on under there? What was the water fell? Uh, they went around the world. Australia was connected to, was it
The hip
Sumatra?
bone, the hip bone was connected to the
It
thigh
was never
bone.
connected to Southeast Asia. There is a big trench there, and that's why even during the ice ages, the animals that were in kind of the marsupials and monotremes and whatnot, they didn't get into Asia, and nor did tigers get into Australia because there was a barrier they could not pass because
Hmm.
the levels did not fall that deep. Um, Story about volcanoes in Arizona, some of which have erupted as recently as 1,000 years ago. Weird
Wow.
place. You don't think of Arizona as volcanic, but it
Yeah.
is.
No. Yeah.
Scientists who tried to decipher what
Hey,
Pangea
wait a
looked like.
minute. Were you? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Back up. Were you
Yes,
watching that to see how your resale value is going to be affected?
they're mostly north of us. They're in the
Oh,
upland, the high
oh.
country.
Thought you were worried about
There's
your resale
actually
value, but
there's a section of the Grand Canyon where after the canyon was carved, there's lava flows right over the wall, and that they created a lava dam in the Colorado River, which eventually busted through. But there's some fascinating geology around here. What did
hmm.
Pangea look like? Not just because they went, hey, South America kind of fits into Africa. Well, yeah, and what about the climate? Where was their desert? Where were their mountains? Where was the the more tropical regions? How did the currents flow? How did the winds go? And he really did a great job of taking it apart and saying, this is what we know about the world today and how it
Hmm.
behaves with currents and trade winds, etc. I like that one. What did Pangea look like? Let
That's
me do
cool.
a couple more. What happened to the other Mesozoic mammals? Okay, Mesozoic is basically the dinosaur era,
Yep.
the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. There were, and many of us have been taught in school. Well, most of the mammals were little shrew-like creatures who were kept in check by the dinosaurs. There were actually many types of mammals. Uh, so why did the main ones that we have today survive? It was kind of interesting. Another one
That's
that
cool.
from a channel called what's the channel name? No, I can't. History. It's called the video series called History Brought to Life. Right, let me stop that. It's called Mystery Scoop. Is the YouTube channel. What
Mystery scoop. I like it.
what they did is they take these old pictures. Like here's a picture of Abraham Lincoln, and we're all
Hmm.
familiar with some of these classic pictures,
Yeah.
or Tsar Nicholas II. All right, for the Bolshevik Revolution, etc. And I didn't know what to expect. I just clicked this video going, "Well, that's cool." At first, I thought they just colorized him, and then you see him blink and his eyes move, and then he starts smiling, going, "This is kind of creepy, but wow!" They with AI they bring to life a lot of these
Yeah.
people and pictures. Now, there was one of Al Capone that came out today, and the AI isn't perfect, as
No.
it
Yeah.
never is, because it's a black and white picture, and the end of his cigar is bright white. Well, when they colorized it, it was still bright white. It wasn't glowing red like a cigar would be. And then he takes his hand up to the cigar, and at one point it looks like it's kind of disconnected. Like, is it in his hand? Is it not in his hand? The AI couldn't quite figure that part out. But really fascinating, um, bringing pictures and people to life.
Hey, wait a minute. I pulled up the one that you got linked here,
Yeah.
and I saw Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens sitting there on
Yep.
his bed, and saw some other ones. And then I skipped ahead. And there's a smoking dog.
Yeah, the smoking dog. Y They're just taking some of these pictures from history. Some are unknown. It's like, here's, a veteran, an English veteran of the Napoleonic Wars in 1878. They don't even know the guy's name, but he's sitting there with his wife. And,
Yeah.
they smile, they look around, the mouth moves a little bit like they're chattering. Uh, can't make out any words, but it's it's really fascinating. They bring them to life. History brought
Well,
to
it's
life
very
with AI magic.
well. I love this because there's obviously some old photographs that are
Yep.
worth being seen, much less given a little bit of life like this. It also reminds me of, well, you posted one of those videos where it was all generated with AI, but it was reimagining Gilligan's Island as a horror movie.
Yes.
But it's the same kind of thing where I wouldn't say it's an old photograph, but it's like, you know, I've seen a million of these things too. It's like you see the character kind of standing in their spot, maybe looking around a little bit, but it's it's fascinating to see, especially some of the old science fiction stuff, and they show a guy sitting there just like you would imagine. What would so and so look like if it was real? And it had
Yeah.
realish looking people. Anyway, I'm just rambling, but I think that's kind of a neat technology, especially for old photographs.
I'm not going to spoil this one, but I strongly encourage you to uh, watch The Strangest Tank Battle of World War II.
The strangest, okay.
It will blow you away. The just the contrast of the story. You wouldn't believe it if somebody had told you and went, "Is this for real?" And then you go, "Yeah, it was for real." Um, and then finally, Chernobyl visually explained. They don't show the explosion, but the guy pieces together. He takes you step by step how this particular nuclear reactor works with the control rods, with the production of xenon, with a lot of different variables. You go, wow, these things are actually more complex than you think. The water level, uh, everything, and then what actually happened and why
Mhm.
that accident happened.
The
Uh,
fail, yeah,
yeah, and you come out of that going, you sure you want Homer Simpson in front of one of these things?
yeah. Brr. Yeah, I was always, especially at a younger age, I was when I first heard about Chernobyl, I was fascinated about it, kind of scared a little bit at the same time because there was a big effort to cover it up, so
Yep.
it's inside Russia. There's not much information about it, especially at first, and it just that kind of thing rambled around in my head for a long time. And I've seen videos of uh in a friendlier situation in Russia where they were traveling to it, and they go through some of these towns that were right outside of it, and it looks like just time stopped because people had to leave. They had to leave in a hurry, and there's like toys, still newspapers and magazines sitting
Yes.
around.
Now,
It's
trees have grown up in the playground, that kind of thing since they left, but
Yeah, so you can't use a little merry-go-round anymore because there's a tree in the way.
yeah.
But you don't want to be touching the metal.
Facebook user was
Things
talking
there.
about the AI bringing pictures to life and says, "Paintings in Harry Potter?" That's
Oh
kinda
yeah,
what it reminded me of. Very
yeah,
much so.
yeah,
Yeah, when they
yeah.
look
It
at the
would be.
newspaper and something's happening in the image, the paintings
Hmm.
would generally talk to you if you talk to them, but the newspaper
Right,
wouldn't, though. That's pretty cool.
yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, the two things that I watched, one, I was trying to get the family into a little bit of a Halloween mode around
Yes.
Halloween, and there was this movie called Carved on Hulu. I saw that it had like what 26%, 30%, 36% on the Rotten Tomatoes or something. And I was like, okay, this ain't gonna be great. But I was like, let's watch it. So Harrison and I watched it. It was not great, but for the cheese factor, it was pretty funny.
The title
So
makes me think of, like, a reality cooking show.
no, 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 not like the great British, Halloween carving show. But what it was there was a in the 90s, there was a train wreck with toxic, spillage, and apparently it caused a problem with the pumpkins in the region and back then, and they came back, so the pumpkins were alive, basically.
Pumpkins are pissed. "You've been carving
Yeah.
our faces!"
It was it was kind of stupid, but there was a couple of moments I was like, that's not a half bad idea. You know, some of the things that they were trying, but there was a whole scene where all the main characters were holed up in a barn structure for like 30 minutes. I'm like, has anybody not wanted to go out the back door or leave or run or something? It's like, come on. So it wasn't great, but from a cheese factor, it was all right. So it was fun in that sense. We were kind of MST3K in it a little bit. And speaking of YouTube stuff,
I saw
I've
this
seen a
one. We must be
Did you see this
subscribed to
one?
the same channel.
Yeah, so this was a fun one. This guy, Dan Monroe, has a YouTube channel. I think we talked about this guy before.
Yep.
He follows along a lot of your favorite science fiction or movie genres that, if you're listening to this show, you're probably familiar with. He built the B9 robot. There was a whole video about him doing that, and I think the Robbie, the robot. I think he built one of those. I think he did. Anyway,
We talked
so
about where the Death Star went. I think he's the one who covered that too. Where the
which one?
model of the Death Star.
He may have, yeah, and I think the Lost in Space, the original Jupiter
Yep.
one,
The
things like that.
the Martian spaceships from War of the Worlds.
Yeah. So
Well-
this one, he was talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark and a little bit of the history about the film, and then he went into films. Talked about the
You
other ones.
think he's a bit of
bit.
a fan of this movie?
Oh yeah, yeah. But
It's like-
he was focusing on Raiders, and he started talking about the history of what happened to some of the props, and he mentioned some of them went up for auction, and he even started talking. The main thing was about the Ark, what happened to the Ark, and so the Ark itself, the one they used in the film, is in Lucasfilm's archives. I'm kind of spoiling it, aren't I? But there was one that wasn't used on film, but was used as a
Like a test prop almost.
test prop, and that one was actually still around too. So go watch this. This is a lot of fun. Of course, I agree with. He is totally in my wheelhouse because, besides Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark is probably one of the more influential films on my young imagination.
It still
that I can
holds
think
up.
of.
You think
Yes.
about the last 10 minutes with the melting faces and the ghosties and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Those effects are still workable.
Oh yeah, I love this film. My uncle took my brother and I to go see it, but when he was trying to entice us before we went to go see it, he's talking about this archaeologist and he's searching for these things. I'm like, archaeologist?
Boring.
You're not selling this, buddy.
Yeah.
Uncle Steve, you're not selling this. But my life was changed when I saw it. It was fantastic. And next thing you know, I'm trying to whip my brother with a bullwhip. Okay. Get over here. No, but it was
And he shoots you.
yeah, he shoots. Yeah.
Here,
Ugh.
take this sword.
Yeah. Take this sword.
Try to attack
So-
me.
This is a fun video, but this guy has some great videos. They go check him out, Dan Monroe.
Yep, a lot of fun. You can get
Mm-hmm.
lost in his library collection for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end. We've got our question of the week. This one comes to us from listener and Patreon member Steve London. Says, what would be the dumbest, lamest, and most boring superpower you could have that gave you the edge over normal people?
Math.
That's not the dumbest.
No,
I'm
but
thinking of like
some people would see it as the dumbest, lamest, most boring superpower. Math.
without moving your hands or touching anything, you could undo people's shoelaces. On your marks, get set, go, and you're off to the
Yeah.
race, and everybody else's shoes are untied.
Yeah. Or I know it's going to sound funny when I say this at first. Unbutton people's pants so when they start to run, they trip over themselves.
Yep, we're being childish. So, yep, that would give you an edge.
Yeah.
We
But
want to hear yours.
I was just thinking I could see a lot of people going, math is dumb. It's lame. It's boring. See?
What if you automatically burned other people's toast?
That's a superpower.
Right. Hey,
I can do that with a toaster. Everybody can do that with a toaster.
no, you just. I have the power to burn your toast.
Yeah. Yeah.
The toaster wasn't even on.
Yeah.
The bread wasn't even in the toaster.
Right. Right. Oh my God.
What's happening here? All right, we're going to post that one to social media, see what it comes up with next time we're on the air. Probably going to have a week off. I do have some personal business to take care of next weekend. Apologies for that, but we'll be back as soon as possible. We will find out what your creative answers are for this. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on the listener line. Craig's going to put that on the screen, and I remember this one without looking. 707-530-2428.
Oh, you looked. I watched your eyes.
Same as it ever was.
Right.
Actually, we started out with a K9 number once upon a time, but about the last 10 years, it's been this number. 707-530-CHAT. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. If you're outside the U.S., you can always just record us on your phone and send us the audio file or email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. What?
Don't forget, November is International.
He's up to a good start. Technorama voicemail month.
Yeah, that's right. Voicemail month.
We just changed the message like 3 weeks ago because it was stuck from last year.
Change it back.
No. Give us a binary high five. We're out of here.
All right. 101.
There ends our audio recording. And we are going to sign off, record our Patreon show, get that out to the listeners on Monday. And we appreciate you watching. Live long, prosper, do something like that with your hands. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching later, thanks for watching and take care of yourself.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Where's the button that says end stream? There it is.